Blog Talk Radio.
Recruiting Animal here on October 29, 2014. 2014. You know, here in Canada, we have something called the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, the CBC. It's the national TV network and radio service, and they got a big news website as well, and it's all funded by the government to keep us thinking like Canadians. We don't want the American stations overwhelming us like they do anyway, but the CBC keeps us Canadian. Anyway, they have a show on CBC called Q, just the letter Q, and it's hosted by a guy named Jian Ghomeshi. And the big news here in Canada this week is that Jian Ghomeshi got fired because the CBC found out about his kinky sex life. And he got mad because he said his sex life isn't any of their business. So he put a long posting up on Facebook in which he admits that, yes, he does like rough sex like they have in 50 Shades of Grey. But I didn't read 50 Shades of Grey, so I don't know what that really means. I don't know what's involved. I remember when Tiger Woods got into trouble, one of his girlfriends came forward and said he liked to grab her hair and spank her. But this seemed a lot rougher than that. Some of John's girlfriends have apparently come forward, and one said that on the first date, she walked into his house and he punched her in the face as soon as she came in the door. You know, I think I'm pretty liberal, but I don't find that sexy. And my guess is that a lot of other people won't either. And I was reading an article by a lawyer named Howard Levitt, and he said that no big corporation can afford to stick with a high-profile member of the team whose personal life is going to wreck their brand. So they were bound to let him go. CBC had to let John go, just like the NBA had to get rid of Don Sterling, the owner of the LA Clippers, when his girlfriend taped one of his bigoted rants, and that became public. So here's the conclusion. Your private sex life, it is your company's business. We have a famous saying here in Canada. Our Prime Minister said it many years ago, that the state has no place in the bedrooms of the nation. The state has no place in the bedrooms of the nation, but your employer does. Your boss does. So what does that mean for recruiters? That we have to become part of some McCarthyite crusade against S&M? You know, during the first interview, you got to ask, do you have any sexual things you should be telling me about? And if they say no, you have to say, are you sure there's nothing on video that's going to conflict with my company's culture? You know, it's embarrassing, but I guess that's what we're paid for, to separate the sheep from the goats. And that's what I'm going to do now on Jerry. Jerry, what show is this?
The Recruiting Animal Show!
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Jerry's not here. He's out. I doesn't like me saying these things, but he doesn't care what he says about me. He's out picking up some appliances for his kitchen. This show is so important for him that he's, scheduled his stove and fridge delivery at the same time. So I'm just going to go straight to my guest. He's a guy I know nothing about. In fact, I got to tell you, I looked at his LinkedIn profile, and he doesn't seem to be a recruiter, but he told me on Twitter that he is. So we're going to find out. As I said, we're going to separate the sheep from the goats. Rasheen Carbin, welcome to the show. Are you there?
I am. Thanks, Animal. And
a little louder.
Louder. I'm happy about the opportunity. And
you're happy
let's rock,
about
man.
the opportunity. Okay.
Yeah, to talk on the show. You're a big star.
Don't cut me off. I want to be sure that I'm happy I gave you the opportunity. I was desperate. So please don't embarrass me today, okay? That's what if you screw up, did you see what these guys did to me last week? Did you listen to the last show?
I did listen to the last show.
Yeah, did you listen to the after show? They went crazy. Don't let them do it to me. Don't let them. Help me, okay, Rasheen? Okay.
Oh.
Did you bring a song?
I didn't bring a song.
You know what? I finally got a song that the guest can't screw me out of, okay? Do you know all about the bass? Do you know all about the bass?
All about the bass, yeah, by Trainer, yeah.
Yeah, you going to sing that with me?
I don't know the lyrics to it, but I'll...
I knew you were going to... I got you! You just have to shout no treble every time I say
let's do a Canadian artist. Let's do Rockin' in the Free World by Neil Young.
Forget it. No, you should have thought of that ahead of time. We're doing all about the bass, and all you got to shout is no treble. Every time I say it's all about the bass, you shout no treble. Is that okay?
That's cool.
Okay. But you got to do it loud. You got a nice voice, I can tell. Maureen's going to like it too, I think. So we're going to go. I'll go 1, 2, 3. It's all about that bass.
No trouble.
Yeah, it's all about the bass, about the
no
bass.
No trouble.
Yeah, it's all about the bass, about the
no
bass.
No trouble.
No, it's all about the bass, about the...
No trouble.
That's good for you. Congratulations.
Thank
you.
Let
me just see if Jerry might have showed up. Nope. You know what? The reason I wanted to talk to Jerry is because he got some fan mail yesterday. A guy named Ian Minton, who works at Monster, he sent me a tweet yesterday. He said he loves the show. And then by email, he sent me a quiz because he said it made him think of Jerry. And it's a poster, and it says, do you have Ebola? And there's 2 questions. The first question is, have you touched the blood, sweat, saliva, and all that other stuff, all the secretions of someone who has Ebola? And if not, if you answer no, you don't have Ebola. The second question is, do you watch Fox News? Sorry, do you watch Fox News? And if you answer yes, you've got Ebola. That was for Jerry. I always thought he'd really like that. Okay. Now, look, I was going to take Jerry to task. I don't really need Jerry on the show as much as he thinks I do. But this week, I wanted him here so I could take him to task about those complaints from last week. You listened to the show with Vince Brown. He was a good guest, right, Rasheen?
Yeah, he was a good guest.
Yeah, everybody thought he was fantastic. He's a super recruiter. So then they said I didn't ask the right questions because if he's a good recruiter, you don't want to ask him how he recruits. That's wrong. Yeah, you got to ask him how he manages his team and what his strategic plans are for 6 months down the road. And they went on and on about that, right? I asked, do you recruit on Twitter? And they said that's a bad question. But Rasheen, I want to know this. Any sensible person, I think, would agree with me. If the person's a good recruiter, don't you want to know what good recruiters do, how they recruit, if they do the same thing as you? Don't you agree with me, Rasheen?
Absolutely. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, so you might as well copy somebody who's successful already.
Okay. And Jerry is wrong, right?
Jerry is wrong.
Good. Thanks. That's all I needed from you. Okay, in 30 seconds, can you tell us who you are or what you do?
Sure. I'm Rasheen Carbin. I'm a Georgetown University graduate.
Louder.
I'm Rasheen. I'm a Georgetown University graduate. 2 years ago, with a partner of mine, we started a site called MBA Project Search. We use that to connect MBAs with companies for short-term work. From that, we pivoted and decided to develop an app to make it more direct for candidates to reach hiring managers and recruiters. And that just came out, and it's called nspHire, nspHire. We also have a doctor recruiting site.
Slow down. Okay. Now, I don't mind talking about this, but you told me you're a recruiter. Am I right or wrong about that?
Absolutely.
Okay. So first, let's talk about your app. It's nspHire, right?
That's correct.
And how do people find it if they want to use it?
Right now, it's available in Google Play.
Yeah.
And then November 1st, it'll be in the App Store, the iOS version.
Okay. So how does it work exactly? If you're a third-party recruiter, is it going to help you?
You definitely want to be on it if you're a third-party recruiter. It works similar to the popular dating app Tinder. Have you heard of that?
I heard of it.
So Tinder, it allows you to make a match with somebody only if they also like you. So you swipe right if you like the person or their picture, and you swipe left if you don't like their picture.
Yeah.
So we've applied that to the app by saying, you know what, recruiters get way too many resumes. Candidates, when you press submit on a job board, you don't know the hell what happens. So why don't we just connect them by a system that allows two people who definitely have interest in each other to communicate. So we've got an in-app messaging system, and you use your LinkedIn API to sign in. So you don't have to go through all the rigmarole of filling out all these boxes like you do on Monster. All the information from LinkedIn just uploads, and it creates your profile.
Okay. Now you said that recruiters are already getting too many resumes. This is going to filter for them. It sounds like it's just going to make anybody give anybody access to them. All kinds of, pizza drivers and other inappropriate people. Am I right or wrong about that?
You're wrong, and that's actually what we wanted to try to eliminate. So let's say you and I are, say you're the recruiter and I'm the candidate. Yeah. And I see your posting on the app, and I like it, I'm going to swipe right. You see my profile.
What am I going to like about it? I'm looking at your LinkedIn profile. Is that
right? I'm looking at right. You're looking at some information from my LinkedIn profile that describes my skills, where I went to school.
What is the application
like
called?
That. nspHire.
Could you spell that? You had a funky spelling.
Sure. NSP and then hire. HIRE.
Is that Michael Cox?
Yes, sir.
Michael, he straightened this out for me. This looks like it just opens you up to a flood of lousy people. Am I right?
Oh, no. If you let me explain. So let's go back to the example.
I got to do something, Rasheen. Hold on a second. What we call lousy candidates, we call them crapplicants. And it sounds like this is a crapplicant machine. You got to prove to me that it isn't.
Well, again, let's get back to the example. So I'm a candidate. I like what you have posted, so I swipe right and say I like you. You, on the other side, you see my profile and you say, you know what, that looks like a good fit. You swipe right. So now we can have a conversation on the app through in-app messaging, and then obviously it goes offline. So
wait. I gotta look at your LinkedIn profile. That is most people you figure are going to, especially these corporate recruiters, they're going to get all kinds of people who are not appropriate, and they're going to get boom, 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 one LinkedIn profile after another. I mean, you're not really doing any filtering. I'm sorry. I told you if you come on this show, you're going to get challenged. Does anybody else want to come in and take Rasheen's side against me?
I was just curious. First of all, nspHire.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it on the Play Store. I can't find it. But I've seen it.
N as in Nancy, SP, and then hire.
Yeah. I'm curious. There's another one that's I won't say identical. I'm sure there's a big difference. That another Animal Crew member had mentioned, which is Jobber, JOBR. What is the difference? What's the differentiator there?
Well, Jobber doesn't allow you to search anonymously, which we let people do. And Jobber also is only available on iOS. We are going to be available on both. But you're right, it's a similar approach to Job Match. And as I was saying, Animal, if you like me and I like you, then we can talk. But if I like you and you don't like me, we can't talk.
And I know right away?
You know right away. And if you're a candidate, you don't have to be on the app the whole time. You get push notifications telling you that someone's interested in you, and then you go and look, and you say, or great. So it definitely filters. You're only having relevant conversations with people you're interested in and who are interested in you.
Okay, Zach Brown. Zach Brown is on Twitter. He says it's not available for iOS. You said November 1st. Is that what you said?
That's correct.
For iOS? Yeah. Okay, wake up, Zach. Okay, the guy already addressed that. November 1st. But he also says, how is this different from the Coffee app?
Coffee app is about networking. So it allows you to find somebody with similar interests. You meet up at a coffee shop and you nosh on some topic. It's not about, networking is definitely the best way to find a job, I would say overall, but it's not about directly connecting people specifically around helping that person find a job.
Okay. Kathy
Manis,
could find
with coffee, you could find somebody else who likes comic books.
Okay. Kathy Manis, are you on the line? You want to ask your own question, or do I have to ask it for you?
Sure. I just wondered if you've had any hires from using this app. And if so, how many?
We just released the app about a week ago, so we haven't had any hires yet.
Have you had any interested resumes, that you could present to your client?
Absolutely.
So how many resumes have you gotten?
So far, we've got about 75, and then once we launch the iOS, we'll timing that with an email marketing campaign with people that we worked with during our first startup. So that's going to be a database of about 15,000 people. So we'll get more people on the app.
Hold on, Rasheen. Are you nervous? You're talking a bit slow.
Sorry, I'm not nervous. I'm just excited to be on the call with you.
Okay. Yeah, but hold on a second. How do these 15 people? How do the people find out about your app?
So when I refer to that 15,000, those are all the MBA candidates we worked with for MBA Project Search. So we're going to transition them onto the app. We'll send out an email.
How do you make money? How do you make money? Should I say it
again? We charge the recruiters and the hiring managers 99 cents per person they want to talk to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anybody got a comment on that? Well, anything exciting about, your experience with that app that, you think we'd find interesting, you want to share with us? Like, how you got backers and, did you ever want to kill yourself while you've been developing it and stuff like that?
Yeah, we had a really rough time developing it. When we came up with the idea, we took it to a company called Offshore that they'll provide you with a project manager here who will then manage a team in India. And they said it was going to be 2 months. It ended up taking 6 months. There were many times where I just lost faith in these guys, and I wanted to not do any more business with them. And, there was a cultural difference. They would say, yeah, we can do that, and then just not do it because they actually couldn't. They just would never say no to the boss. It was really rough, and it's all self-funded. It's just family and friends' money, and so, you have to look at people that are your blood and they say, hey, what's going on with the app? Am I going to get my money back? And those are tough conversations.
Yeah, I'll bet. Okay, so the thing is, that Phil Libin, the guy who developed Evernote, you heard of him, right? Okay,
I have.
He says what you should do when you're a kid is get yourself some friends who you think are going to be smart enough to develop a startup with you when you're a little older, and that you should not make any friends who don't fall into that category because you've only got room for so many friends. How did you get these guys, your partners?
We all met in college.
Okay. And do you hate them now?
Two of my partners are brothers. No, I don't hate them now. I have a lot more respect for them now because we've been through some tough times together, and I saw that they rose to the occasion.
How much does it cost? Can I ask how much it costs to start a business like that? Because we always hear that in the new age, there's no capital cost, so you can start a business for free. Doesn't sound like it.
No, to develop the app, it cost us $8,000, and I think the typical app costs about $5,000.
And if you would have gone to India yourself, to push those guys, would it have been better?
That's what I'd like to think. I would have definitely cracked some skulls. But my partner who interfaced with them is a lot more forgiving. But you can't beat the price. I think we paid $15 an hour for app development. In the U.S., that'd be $50 to $100 easily an hour.
So now the government is paying those guys unemployment who aren't working on but you wouldn't have a business if it was that expensive anyway. Okay. Zach Brown says, anybody else got more questions for me? I'm not that familiar with the app world. If somebody's got another question, I'm very happy to let them in. Okay. Mike Cox, anybody?
I was just curious, how does the pay per contact work?
So it's
you're paying $1?
Right, you're paying $1, and you can pay inside the app. So you can buy some credits.
For what now?
You're paying for a conversation with a candidate. So you can talk all you want with a candidate for 99 cents. If you want to talk to another candidate, you're going to get charged another 99 cents. Now, I don't know if people
once you got the guy's name, what's to stop you from contacting him without paying the 99 cents?
You won't. Once you say you've both connected.
You're looking at his LinkedIn profile before you say whether you like him or not, right?
Right. Well, you're not looking at his entire LinkedIn profile. You're looking at relevant information from it. So you're not going to be able to get his email address just from looking at it. You'll have to exchange that information when you message each other.
Oh, okay. Anything else? Go ahead, Ken.
Do you get the person's name before you pay the 99 cents?
Right.
No.
You both have to say, "Hey, I like each other and we want to talk." And then the recruiter has to then pay the 99 cents. If you don't pay the 99 cents, you're not talking.
No.
Okay.
Do you get the person's name prior to paying the 99 cents?
Okay. Yes.
No.
No. Sorry. I thought you were continuing the question. No, you cannot get the person's name prior to paying the 99 cents.
Okay.
So you're only going to get job hunters, right? Because only job hunters will use this. You won't get passive candidates, right?
No, we'll get passive candidates too, because people will sign up for it, and then we'll receive push notifications that they don't need to do anything in order to get, and then they can easily, at their leisure, come back to it and contact these recruiters.
Well, so you're sending out jobs to them.
We're sending a notification that says, "Hey, this person is interested in you. They work for this company," and you can respond or not respond.
You know what? I don't want to take this on too long. I don't want to lose my audience. But if I'm the guy, I'm a semi-passive candidate. I'm working. I'm not actively looking, but if someone offers me something good, I'll take a look at it. How do they find out about me? There's a database, and someone searches that database.
Right. You search the database online if you're a recruiter.
Just like LinkedIn.
No, not like LinkedIn. I don't know if you're familiar with the LinkedIn app, but it stinks. Okay. Anyway, anything else we should know about that I haven't asked? No. I as I said, this was a great opportunity, and I appreciate you giving it to me.
Yeah. Don't suck up to me. You're going to get killed for the rest of the show. I just got that feeling.
I'm an American. Why would I suck up to a Canadian?
Okay, fine. Okay, look. You said you're a recruiter. There's no hint of that on your LinkedIn profile. Tell me how you're a recruiter, what you do, and why don't you make it clear? I mean, I saw that you're religious or something. There's some kind of ministry that you're involved in, but it doesn't say the word recruiter that I could see there. What's up with that?
So MBA Project Search, we recruited MBAs. Hired MD, which is another startup we have, we recruit doctors. And it's a start. We're a three-person startup, so everybody does everything. And principally, what I do is recruit people, and I also do marketing.
So you're like your headhunters. Is that what you do?
Yeah, you can use that label.
What do you mean? Don't make me guess. Tell me what you do. Does anybody else have a problem with how we're handling this?
We source candidates. We use every means we have, and then we contact them and get them on. We get them on our board, our app.
You're recruiting people for your database. You don't have any clients, employers. Am I right about that? Why do I have to guess? Why can't you just tell me?
No, I'm telling you. We do have employers on the app.
Oh, they're on the app. They're on the app.
Right. In our previous companies, Hired MD and MBA Project Search, those were more like job boards.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Does anybody know what he's saying? Somebody want to help me? Really, I need a hand here. No. Okay, thanks everybody. You can criticize me for not asking the right questions, but when I ask for some help, nobody's got a word. Okay? Let me ask you.
I don't think anybody wants to hammer the poor guy too hard, but I guess I don't understand how you can make a recruiting app to help recruiters if you've never been a real recruiter, and I know you're saying you've done recruiting, but I'm not hearing it.
What do you think that I've done then?
Well, we're not going to guess that.
Tell us. Yes. Why don't you tell us?
Are you supposed to tell us? We're not supposed to tell you. This isn't a quiz show, okay? Now look.
This is the recruiting animal show. You're talking to 150, 200 years of combined experience
you know what?
in recruiting. We all kind of know what recruiting is. We're asking if you know what it is.
You know, I got to tell you something about Jeff Newman. He will talk through you. He will not let me interrupt. No matter how much I try to talk him down, he just keeps talking till I give up. Jerry does the same thing. Okay? Now, here's the thing, Jeff. I hate that combined experience stuff because everybody's got the same experience. We don't have 100 years of experience. We've maybe got 10 years of experience 10 times or something like that. It's all the same stuff. It's all duplicated. When you take anybody who says combined experience is a liar and I don't respect them. But I respect you, Jeff, so I'm
Animal.
Thank you, Animal.
Would you say combined experience?
We all have the same base of experience, the same general experience, but I look at it this way. You've been doing the show for how long, and how much has recruiting changed? When you first started, did you ask how many Twitter placements that person made?
No.
There you go. That's what I was going to mention. Isn't it like a generational thing when you talk about combined experience? You talk about people who are bringing disparate experience sets over time when you're talking about combined experience.
No. You know what? If you're 20 years old, you're in recruiting, and somebody's 40 years old in recruiting, that 40-year-old person has to keep up. It's not like they learned something in 1985 or 1995 and they never learn anything else. That's just not true. The young kids are not ahead of anybody, okay?
Yeah, but they're bringing a different experience set, a different perspective to the table.
Is this Alejandro?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you're wrong.
Stop it with all that sense making.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Let me ask. You know what? Here's what I did. I came out. I wasn't sure what Rasheen does. Rasheen, what's your Twitter name?
Rasheen Carbin.
Spell it, please.
RASHEEN CARB as in boy IN.
RASHEEN.
Oh my God.
RASHEEN
CARBIN. Carbin.
B as in boy IN. Yeah.
Okay, look. I came up with a bunch of questions. And nspHire is the nspHire is the app, okay? But I came up with a bunch of questions. I wasn't sure what you were up to, so we'll talk about them, but I can answer the questions if you can't and if nobody else will. That's how I structured the show today. So let me ask you, are you an outgoing person or more than quiet?
I am an outgoing person.
Uh-huh. And do you think you have to be an outgoing person to be a recruiter, or can you be quiet?
Absolutely. No, you can't be quiet. You got to be aggressive.
Okay. Anybody else agree with them? Because I just read an article this morning that said introverts make the best recruiters.
As Steve Levy says,
don't you got to consider your audience?
One mouth for a reason.
What'd you say? Oh, no, not that corny crap again. Somebody else
doesn't matter. Just because something is trite and corny doesn't make it untrue any longer.
Okay. Well,
and
hold on.
The best recruiters are better listeners. It's a skill I've been fighting against for the 16 years I've been doing it because, as you mentioned, Michael, I'm a talker. But listening and introverts are better listeners.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
Also, I wish we had sung Rockin' in the Free World at the beginning. That would have gotten us off to a rockin' start.
I'm on a rockin' start. Okay? The point is, you have to be a talker before you're a listener. Being a talker, being outgoing, is much better for a recruiter than being quiet. Okay? The thing is, introverts or the quiet, we're talking, when we say quiet type, are we talking about an introvert? Are we talking about a shy person? Not quite the same thing. I think an outgoing person is going to be a better recruiter. That's my take on it, okay? Now, here's a question I don't think you're prepared to answer, Rasheen. What if there's no address on a resume? You don't get any resumes, right? So that's not a fair question for you, is it?
No, we don't. You're right. We don't get any addresses.
Okay.
So how would we sell that?
Mark Miller wrote an article on LinkedIn. He said, if you put your address on your resume, you're opening yourself up to economic profiling, and you're encouraging bias based on the length of the commute. I got to tell you something. I like to see where the person lives. I don't want them to hide anything. When something's missing, it makes me feel bad. Does anybody else have a reaction to that? No address on a resume? Alejandro, you like to talk.
I like to talk, but I got no problem if somebody doesn't want to list their resume. I mean, I get on the phone and talk to somebody. Who cares? I'm going to talk to them anyway. If they're going to have a local area code, I'm going to know more things about them. They're working in the area. I'll find out their address. I'll find out about their commute later on. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
I don't think you need to have an address on
yeah,
resume.
I don't need.
Jeremy? Maybe at most a city or a
city, sure.
state.
I'll tell people to not even use their actual cell phone. Use a Google Voice number if they want to protect their cell phone number, so they're not getting bombarded by calls.
Okay, somebody's a Maureen or somebody's talking to somebody else.
Somebody's closing a deal in the background.
Okay.
It's not me. It's not me.
It's Maureen.
Maureen.
She gave up on whispering. She's just going to talk in the background.
Okay. Here's another question, Rasheen. Don't feel bad if you feel sidelined. Because when you told me you're a recruiter, I'm happy to have you here. You seem like a nice guy. I hope you stay part of the recruiting animal world. But I can't ask questions. This is a recruiting show. I got to ask recruiting questions, and we'll keep mentioning your app. HIRE. nspHire. nspHire. Okay. How often? I was reading this on Jerry's group. How often do you guys?
I wasn't listening. What was the name of the app?
I'll ask everybody. Apparently, the people in Jerry's group, all of them are having big problems with their candidates. They say, "Have you heard of this company?" No. Or have you applied to the company in the past? No. Then Jerry says 25% of the time he'll submit the candidate and he finds out that they know the person already. And it's either because, a recruiter has submitted it without telling them, or a recruiter has recruited them but didn't tell them the name of the company for confidentiality reasons, or 3, the person's lying. I never found that's a real big problem. Do you guys find your candidates are that dumb?
I do. I actually do.
Yes.
Kathy, you want to tell a story?
Oh, I was interviewing a candidate for Deloitte, and I have a way of checking in our system to see whether they've interviewed with us or not. And I had seen that they had interviewed 3 times, but it was several years ago, and they blatantly said they had never interviewed with us. And so that gave me a really bad taste in my mouth. I mean, I knew that they had.
Yeah.
They knew they had.
They'd actually interviewed Jerry, because Jerry also said sometimes if someone's involved in a very busy job search and they're not, really tracking what they've done properly, then they might have forgot.
Yeah.
But this guy didn't forget.
And that makes sense.
As part of my screening, I'll ask somebody, when's the last time you interviewed at whatever the client is? And if they reply, oh, I've never interviewed there, then I'll say, okay, when's the last time you applied? To try and suss that out, because people will, either be mistaken or try and hide the fact that they've applied there 7 or 8 times.
Really? I mean, these liars, how do they think they're not going to get caught? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know what to tell you on that one.
Nobody? Okay. Now, what about, there's a guy named, I think I'm allowed to say it because he posted it, I think, the public group. Or no, it was an article. Joshua Jones. He said, we recruit for lousy jobs too. Bad companies need recruiters more than good ones. And the best recruiters are able to take an unattractive position with a directionless company and find people who will work there. Right? I agree with him. You know, everybody's saying, well, how's your company great? How can you present your brand in a fantastic way to attract people? That's not what recruiting's all about. Maybe that's what corporate recruiting is, but not third-party recruiting as far as I can tell. Rasheen, you got an opinion? You don't have to, but you can.
Yeah, let me weigh in on this. I think he's absolutely right. When you're a bad company and you don't know your ass from your elbow, you definitely need the help. And a recruiter, after all, is an expert, and they have something to bring to the table that you just don't.
You think horrible companies are going to be able to recruit a recruiter that good?
You don't think so? I do.
I think they would. I think people are motivated by challenges. I think they definitely are motivated by money.
You're getting $20,000 or $30,000 to find somebody. Yeah, Mike, fees are pretty high. Yeah. Anybody else? There's a lot of people on the line. You don't have to, just chime in. Don't be quiet or polite or anything like that. I'm waiting for you to help me here. No. But if Jerry was here in the after show, they'd say, I don't like the questions to recruit the animal acts. No. Okay. I got to tell you something. It happened to me this week. Twice, or in the last couple of weeks, somebody commented on my Facebook group, and I said, that's pretty good. And then I went and looked at the guy's Twitter page, and I saw some political stuff there that just really bugged me. It gave me a punch-in-the-gut reaction, and I wanted to fight with that guy about this political stuff. I mean, I'm dealing with the group as a recruiter, and then again, the other day, it happened again. It's just certain topics, trigger me. And I decided against it, but I have to tell you, it was hard. And I'm wondering if anybody else limits themselves in that, if they won't, get engaged in some quarrel online.
You know what? It bothers me. Like, if you are an atheist and a liberal, it's okay to share your political beliefs. But if you are not, then you should hide them.
There you go. I won't get involved in that.
Disagree with you. So that's about all I'm
checking out of this one.
That's about all I'm going to say. But yeah, it seems okay for some to share their beliefs, but others, if they do, it's off. So.
Yeah, I don't notice that. I mean, all the recruiters I deal with, they all seem to be right wingers. Okay, and so I see all their views.
I think that's because you're so far left.
How do you know what I think? I don't post any political stuff. I live north of the border. That's why you think that. Anyway, I have a problem. I had a problem recently with that, and I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. I was sort of happy that I let myself cool off, and I saw that Ariana Grande, do you know who she is?
Singer, yeah.
She's very cute. She must be about 20 or 21. She said you have to be successful, you have to numb your reactive state. And maybe she's right. I was in a highly reactive state both those times.
Are you talking about Durbin? Did you read Durbin's political posts again?
No. But Jim fits the bill of what I was talking about. There's Jim, there's Jerry, all those guys. Okay? And now I don't know that you are a real Texan, Jeremy, as well.
Wow.
Okay. So this guy on Quora, he said he's some kind of engineering manager or something. He said he went for an interview once for a senior role, and the first thing the interviewer said to him was, "Are you lucky?" And he said he was taken aback, but the guy didn't offer any context. He just sat back and let him answer. And he said afterward that attitude is very important on his leadership team, and this question, "Are you lucky?" was the way he tested people for attitude. Now, lots of people are saying today that there's a bunch of stupid questions, and it sounds to me like that's one of them. Anybody agree with me? Are you lucky?
That's a stupid question.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't know what he was hoping to find out from that.
That's a stupid question.
Was he going to take him to the casino if he said yes?
That's a good idea. Jeremy?
Well, I was going to say, like, in recruiting, you're looking for good people who can do the job. Like, that's a question that an HR person would use to screen someone out of the process. Like, as a recruiter, I think questions like that are ridiculous. Anything that could screen someone out of the process who could do the job, I think is a bad question.
Rasheen?
I just think it's ridiculous.
I like your point. I'll say my point before we get to Rasheen. I think that really, for third-party recruiters at least, we don't really work that hard on screening people for their culture or personality. Our focus is really on their technical skills. If there's something really bad about the personality, I'll tell the person, well, I didn't really like this guy too much, or I'm very enthusiastic about the way she presents herself. But those are the kind of questions, the personality questions, that's what the hiring manager has to ask them. Am I right when I say there's a pretty... Go ahead.
I think you're right, and I want to know if any corporate recruiter out there, they may not be totally driven by commission like a third-party recruiter, but are there any corporate recruiters that get bonused based on how many people they disqualify for culture fit?
You're right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't care if you're corporate or not. I mean, there's that's I don't know. Unless you're bonused on disqualifying people for culture fit, then I don't know. Everybody I know in corporate recruiting gets a bonus based on how many people they fill.
Okay, Rasheen.
Yep. Yeah.
Are you lucky? Are you lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me how you're lucky.
Well, I was raised in poverty in inner city Detroit. I won a scholarship to a local private school. I went there for 7 years. Luckily, got into Georgetown University and was able to make something of my life. My dad was an alcoholic. My mom was depressed. I had 6 siblings. I'm pretty lucky.
Wow.
I think you probably worked pretty hard.
I worked hard, but I also was lucky in the fact that people who had no relation to me and had no reason to helped me out.
Yeah. Like who? Teachers?
Yeah, my 3rd grade art teacher was the first one who thought I was smart enough to go to this fancy private school. And she actually drove me over there for the test and the interview.
Uh-huh.
But doesn't the old saying, we talk about corny sayings.
Internet radio show today, too.
Sorry,
we talk about corny old sayings, but the thing is, isn't the old saying, the harder you work, the luckier you get?
Yep, I agree.
Luck is
it also helps
more
just
non-existent than culture.
What?
I said it helps just to not be an asshole.
Okay, no, but it looks to me like I'm really interested in what you... First of all, let me ask you, how come you feel so free to tell us that?
Well, I think authenticity is important. I think that's a good story. I think your audience would be interested in that. And yeah, I'm just trying to prove I'm lucky. I'm pretty comfortable with those facts.
I think you are lucky because when you're 8 years old in grade 3, you're not, you don't have a plan that I'm going to work hard and get ahead. You have to have, you're just yourself, and this person comes out of nowhere, a fairy godmother, and she said, I'm going to take care of this kid. That is luck. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, good for you. That's an interesting story. Anything else about it, or any advice for us?
I would say it was more than I would say it was a lot more than luck, and then Animal would call me a right-wing conservative Texan.
Go ahead. Tell me why is it more than luck?
No, we'll keep going.
He was 8 years old. Okay. Okay.
Bootstrap.
Anything else you want to tell us about that, Rasheen? I can spend the whole show
about luck. So. My two of my partners, Dan and Bob, the brothers that I met at Georgetown, we were just on the same intramural basketball team, and that's how we met. And then, 10 years later almost, Dan and I were at a bar watching football, and he told me about this idea he had, and it sounded interesting. So I came along for the ride.
Uh-huh.
That's luck.
And if you were Mark, go ahead. Somebody wants to ask him something, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's not luck. You just happened to meet a friend that had a good idea. That's
luck. That's luck. What do you call it?
That's not luck, man. That's just making relationships.
That's luck.
Right.
Look at Steve Jobs. He had a friend who invented a computer, and now he's one of the geniuses in history, supposedly. That's pure luck.
Yeah, but isn't this people making the most of the opportunities as they appear on the horizon? I mean, how many I just listened to somebody tell me about an idea. They had a business idea that basically turned into LinkedIn, and they said that they were having that idea probably in the early 90s. So is some of that luck and some of that's capitalizing on the opportunities as they're presented?
Okay, look at when Mark Zuckerberg, somebody shared an idea with him, just like the Rasheen's friends did, and he stole the idea. That's not just luck. That's luck and, doing something about it, right?
Right.
He became their partner. He's lucky to know that guy. I mean, there's a lot of, he's right. He's born with some gifts.
But isn't he lucky? But he's also the kind of guy who put himself in the position to meet those kind of people.
I don't know enough about him.
I was just going to the bar for wings and football, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So let me move on. nspHire it's nspHire, like nspHire. That's the name of Rasheen's app. That's the name of Rasheen's app. So what are your plans? Like 10 years from now, do you have a plan where you want to be, Rasheen, or just you don't know? 10's too far ahead, right?
It's too far ahead. I want the app to be successful, and I want to have made an impact and really helped get millennials back into the workforce.
Oh, I knew that. I want to help people was coming. You want to make money.
Animal.
I do want to make money.
Can't
you
you
make
want
money
both?
and help people.
Go ahead.
Animal.
I'm not a do-gooder.
Yeah, you sound like
this whole luck thing, I've lived life. I think you make your luck. And, it's a numbers game. Let's get down to it. It's a numbers game. How many calls, how many emails, how many connections do you make a day? I mean, that's what it is. And if you don't have...
You know what, Kathy? You've also had a dramatic life, just like Rasheen. And you've had, obviously, bad luck and good luck.
But I don't...
Okay?
First of all, I don't like to talk about it in public. But second of all, it's not a matter of luck. I think it's a matter of really being diligent and working hard, Animal. You know that is my history. And not taking no for an answer.
Okay. Well, tell me how tell me how you don't take no for an answer.
Personally, I don't take no for an answer. If you tell me that I can't make 50 connecting calls, I'll make 75. Okay? That's just how I am. And I think that you make your success.
Do you leave voicemail, Kathy? Kathy, do you leave voicemail?
Not normally, no.
Why not?
I just don't.
People don't listen to them.
They don't.
I have 98 voicemails on my phone right now.
But if you're lucky, never
listen to it.
Okay, you guys everybody is that much against voicemail?
It depends. I mean, I've tried both ways. You have like a beautifully crafted voicemail, and sometimes it works out great. And then I got an email 4 weeks after the fact from somebody who was perfect for a role, and he was like, "Oh, I just happened to be listening to my voicemail now." Yeah, well, that position's closed now, buddy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Do you guys know Jeffrey Gittimer, the sales consultant?
Yep.
So I went to see him speak at my local chamber once, and he said he likes to call somebody, start in the message, get his number out, and then hang up. And he says,
that's crap.
Regularly,
Jeff
the
does
people
that
call him
sometimes.
back.
Or used to.
Hey, this is Michael. Don't forget to click. Ooh, now they're going to call back.
Jeffrey Gittimer, he's also somebody who says cold calls are dead. You need your blog and social media.
Okay.
Do you believe that, Rasheen?
No. There's nothing better than hearing somebody's voice and getting a sense of what type of person they are. And social media is easy to ignore. It's easier to ignore than a phone call.
Than a voicemail. You never get through to anybody.
Voicemail. People want to say that these old methods don't work anymore, that you actually don't have to meet a person anymore, that you don't, people are human. They want to connect.
Okay. Now, let me see. You don't do reference checks. How do you pitch a company? Sandra McCart had an interest. I can say it because it was posted on the public group. She says she likes to be able to tell the client, tell the candidate that the client is solid financially, it's well managed, and it's competitive. So she looks at turnover, management style, and the salaries. Those are her three markers, so I asked her, how does she figure out management style? And she says when she takes a job description or a job order, she thoroughly interviews the manager to find out, what they like. Are they micromanagers? Do they just like to, give a result and let the person go with it? And how do they deal with problems and things like that? So those are the three things for her: turnover, salary, and management style. And that's when she'll go and present that to a candidate and say, this is what the company's like. Anybody, say, as opposed to just saying, oh, it's a great company. Anybody got a comment on that? Does anybody, able to tell us how they pitch a company to candidates?
I do the same thing, or, Deloitte has a pension plan. I mean, not many companies have pension plans anymore. So, we talk about how the company is invested back into their employees, which they have tremendously. So, yeah, you've got to pitch your company, and I don't think it hurts to pitch your own experience with the company.
Yeah, you put your best foot forward.
Okay.
You have several areas that you can pitch in your value proposition. It could be compensation, benefits, career prospects, what you're selling or what you're doing, the work content, something about the organization, maybe affiliation with, a parent company or some other larger organization.
What do you mean by that?
Every job has something good about it.
Okay, but what does he mean, your affiliation with a larger organization? Does that mean the company's stable financially? What are we talking about there?
Dayhill, the company that I work for, is a Xerox-owned organization.
Yeah.
So you can talk about the benefits of that affiliation.
What are the benefits?
Well, we're a small organization, so you don't have to deal with the massive 20 layers of management on an org chart if you're working directly for Xerox. But yet we're still able to leverage the resources of being a Xerox-owned organization. So, small organization, but we have big backers, and we don't, that affiliation eliminates the negatives that come with working for a organization, Dayhill, that is less than 500 total employees.
And do you
Best
actually,
of both worlds.
Yeah, when you go in, do you lead with that, or is that one of the things you're sure to bring up every time in a first or second conversation?
In my screening conversation, so once I have the appointment, that's going to be one of the 6 things that I'll cover after I've asked questions to qualify the candidate for a specific opportunity. Now,
wouldn't
once
you
I
want
know
to listen to see if that person's actually looking for that sort of thing? Like, I would ask leading questions to find out if that's something that's important to them, and I'd try and probe out, what kind of things do I have in my deck of cards that I can dish out that way? That you have that in your back pocket. I'd ask around that as part of my probing strategy.
Yeah, and you can't cover this value proposition. You can do it, but you may sound foolish, or you may just highlight a bunch of things that aren't important to that specific candidate. So you should not do this employee value proposition until after you've had that conversation to learn what's important to this candidate. Is he or she concerned about the commute? Is he or she looking for benefits because it may be an older candidate versus somebody that just graduated and wants to hear nothing about anything about if it has nothing
medical,
to do with
yeah.
So okay, so that's Michael Cox, and you're agreeing with Alejandro, right?
Only if he is agreeing with me.
Okay.
There you go.
we're almost done, but I got to ask a question. Rasheen, do you use Evernote?
I don't. I actually use Microsoft OneNote.
Well, use OneNote. How do you like it?
It's okay. It's like a lot of Microsoft products. It's not the best, but it works.
What do you use it for?
Well, when I walk around, I have ideas. I put it in, and because I would figure it otherwise. And I also use it just to kind of look back on what I've been doing for the last few months and see if there's been any growth or what, or if I'm still working on the same problems.
Because I'm finding that recruiters, I see them talking about it, and HR people on Facebook, they love Evernote. So now that's going to become one of my standard questions. Here's what I didn't like last week. People, you read all kinds of articles. Oh, recruiters do this. This is what's hot in job hunting. Blah, blah, blah. Whoever asks people, we ask them here. And if they say something, we make them prove it. We challenge them. This is the only place you can find out if people really recruit on Twitter, if they recruit on Facebook, if they use video interviews, and now if they use Evernote. Does anybody else who's on the line use Evernote?
I use Evernote.
What for? How do you use it? Do you love it?
It gets the job done.
What job?
I use it for notes that I'm going to cover during presentations that I'm doing at recruiting events or job fairs, or just notes that I have. I got to remember to cover certain points with a specific candidate, and I guess the big benefit of it is that when I use it on my laptop, it syncs with all other devices.
And you use it primarily on your laptop or like Rasheen on your phone?
No, I use it on my tablet, primarily.
Okay. Anybody else? If it's so popular in the recruiting world, everybody here should be telling me stories about it, but they're not, right?
No.
Okay. No. Okay. Rasheen, it's the end of the show. It's the end of the show. Your name is Rasheen Carbin, RASHEEN, and your product is an app called nspHire. And is there anything else you'd like to tell us about that or whatever?
I want to read to you an email that my partner just forwarded me
from
Jeremy at ere.net. Are you familiar with that site?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Great. So here we go.
He's on the line. He's on the line.
I was going to say, he's probably listening.
I'm on here, so be nice.
I'd have left that one.
So he says,
oh, geez, what did I send him?
He says, listening to Rasheen on the Animal Show, I'd love to profile nspHire on sourcecon.com in our Startup Spotlight series. So thank you very much, Animal.
Oh, really? Okay.
Go.
Well, there you go, Jeremy. It's like you're
man.
godfather there. You decided to take a risk and come on the Recruiting Animal Show, claim you're a recruiter even though you're not really, and it worked. It worked out for you. Okay, everybody. There's no Jerry after show today. After last week, maybe you don't know all the problems I had with that after show. Maybe that's a good thing. Thank you for helping me. Goodbye.